Hey everyone, today we're going to be looking at how to shade with ballpoint pen. So as you can see right here, I have a ballpoint pen and we're going to learn how to shade. So let's get started. So as you can see here, we got the infamous scratch paper because I never like using my actual sketchbook paper, which I have here. So I just use this for the videos and this for sketching. Just because these drawings never turn out that great because this commentary, it's very hard to draw and commentate. But anyways, let's get into the first thing. First thing I want to show you guys is being able to do this. So with ballpoint pen, the great thing about it is that you can get, instead of like regular ink where you can just get this, and it's just a solid black ink. With ballpoint pen, it's a very different medium. It's kind of like pencil, where you can indeed go from light to dark. The very first thing I want to tell you guys is to knowing how to choose your pen. So now I only have 2 pens here. Obviously, there's a lot more pens that are available. But if you guys didn't know this already, different ballpoint pens give you different things. So for example, this one I use every day, and I use it just because it's the one that I always have lying around when I'm too lazy to buy a new one, because this one's not that great. The lines are very light and you can't really press it soft and get lighter ink. You know, see, you can sort of, but not really. It's still transitions well, obviously, but it's not as great as, like, I know it's big, but there's the products that you get, the ones they give you at stores or like at businesses, or like when you go there and they give you like the ones with the business name on there and they give you for free, like at the desk. Those seem to work better. You know, they might not always, but for some reason the ones I get from there work a lot better. But this one, which I've never tried, I just found it around, might work better. So this one, I'm having trouble here pressing it. Yeah, this one's more or less the same as this one. Yeah, it's not that great, honestly. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend this one, honestly. Yeah, this line's just, it comes out like it's rough. The line comes out like the feel of the line, I don't know. Like this one's a lot more smooth, like, see that? Oh, now it's doing a lot better. But as you can see from what I was doing here is to practice gradients. So knowing how to go from light to dark. So you build up. So what you want to do is go and do a light layer of your lightest you can go, like this. There's 2 ways of doing this. There's one way. So you would go your light layer, and then you would go your darkest. And now you start off from wherever you want and go from either dark to light or light to dark. So in my case, I'll go dark to light. You slowly start going back to that color there, and you make a gradient. Can't really see what I'm doing. Hopefully it's a gradient. My hand's in the way. Yeah, it's just sort of. You see that how it's not that much of a gradient, but it goes, you know, see, it's a gradient still. Now let me try to do a lighter one here, from light to dark. Let me see if I go slower, maybe it'll go better. It's very tricky to work with pen. You have to have a really light touch. Like I said, some other pens they go better. Like zebra pens are very, very good for shading. I really like those. If you want to shade really gradually, yeah, this is about as light out. You know, if you have a lighter touch than me, if you're really more experienced with pens, you'll probably be better than, you can go lighter than I can probably. I mean, I could try, but I don't know, I feel like that's as light as it will go. And with these pens, it's just, it doesn't have a consistency. Yeah, it could go lighter, but if I press light long enough, it'll eventually stop producing ink, and it'll eventually not write at all, and that's why these are not that great. You have to really get ink on the tip so that you can press lightly and get light lines. You know, you won't always have that light lines. Like sometimes I find myself in a finished piece going light and it doesn't do anything, like it writes nothing. So yeah, this pen isn't really that consistent. So let's move on to practicing shading for the pens. So let's do a circle here, very bad one, and you want to do, you know, the basic one they show you in art class. So light pointing at your circle. Oh man, that's a terrible arrow. But light pointing at your circle. You have your highlight, your mid-tone, your core shadow, and your shadow. And you know, you fill that up, and you do that basic thing with the pen using this gradient technique. So here, let's have our core shadow, and let's make this gonna be the darkest. And obviously this is gonna be a sphere with a very smoothish texture. So another thing you wanna consider when you're doing these is texture. But you know, with the sphere we're not really that concerned with texture, because this is our, how do you say, I don't know, this is just the one that they always do in art class. I don't even know, honestly. I never thought about what texture the sphere has. It's just always common instinct. I guess it's kind of smooth. It's a matte texture. Yeah, it's more like a matte texture. I mean, but from what I'm doing, it's kind of looking rough now. Well, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so if you got your sphere, right, the one you always do in art class, using this gradient, we make this arrow is in the wrong direction. Okay, let's fix that so people don't get confused. Okay, so yeah, there you go. It's a bit better now. And you would have your shadow going from dark to much, not, you know, light, but it's fading away. And obviously in pencil you would just smudge that, but with pen you can't really do that. And there you go. You do this, and by doing this, it allows you to get that, allows you to shade, and you can do, by having this gradient technique, you're able to do, using this gradient technique, it can be applied to any object, like the sphere. You know, obviously when you learn that in art class, it's because it can be applied to any object. It can be applied to any object, and because we know that the head is round, we can apply that to a head. So by using these techniques, we're gonna shade a head and see how we would apply it into the real world. And then I'm gonna show you one more technique that other artists use when you're doing ink. So here we have a head. I'm going to show you how to apply these techniques to this head. Obviously it's not anything great, but it's not here to impress. It's just here for an example. So let's begin. So using, I'm sure most of you guys know the basic of how to shade a head. You know, this isn't the video for that. But using those parameters that we use to shade the head, that we split up, when you split the head up into sections or edges, you can, let's see, if the light, let's say the light's coming from front, so it's a very harsh light, we can use that to shade the head. So let's begin with our darkest lights, because we know this is a very harsh light, so they're gonna receive barely any light. So you're gonna want to make this really dark. And obviously this is being pretty rushed. The way you would get like really smooth lines is by doing it very slowly with very light lines and slowly building it up. That's how you would get like a very smooth finish like here. So if you can do that gradient, you can do a smooth finish, but I'm kind of rushing here because I don't want to take too long. So let's do our darkest, and you'll get a little bit lighter over here. And shade that. And then for here, we're gonna do pretty light lines because it's coming from front. So let's make that pretty light. It's not gonna be that dark. And then we can shade around the nose. And you have that eye. And then right here, this is where the transitioning comes in. So we're gonna transition from dark to this white. So we're gonna go here, start transitioning. So we go from dark to absolute white. And then you just slowly build up your pen strokes. This is what this pen stroke is not that great. Okay, so if we go here, we're gonna go slowly going to dark. Yeah, this is very textured pen. Like I said, choosing your pen is key to this, because man, this pen is not that great right now. Yeah, I could do it with hash lines, and then we can go here, slowly build up this texture in the back of the head, and then obviously under the eye, from the eye socket, a bit more there, a bit more there. And then it's a mid-tone for the skin, and we almost pretty much have a head done. And now we just draw our shadow for the neck, which isn't that long. Now the shadow of the neck is gonna be really dark because the head is covering it. It's gonna be a pretty dark line. And now we just do our skin color. So after all that, you can see that you've drawn a basic head and you've shaded it. You can use those techniques. You know, this neck shadow is kind of wrong, but you know, it's pretty fixable if I did another drawing. But that's obviously wrong, but you know, you get the idea of how you would shade a head. And there's one more technique I want to show you guys. I'm not going to do a head drawing for this, but it's a pretty quick one that artists use. And this is more for, what do they call them? Micro pen? I forgot what they're called. I think they're called micro pens or fine liners. Yeah, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But in that case, you would shade. You can do it with ballpoint pens, what I'm showing you guys. You shade it with line. It's a pretty cool thing you can get. You would shade with you would press very hard on the pen, like that, and you just shade with line instead of shading with tone. And it gives you, I guess, more of a texture. So yeah, something like that. And obviously the core shadow, or the shadow, I mean. Oh god. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously textures are a thing I'm not gonna have time to show you guys in this video, but when doing shading, keep in mind what texture it is. Obviously skin is pretty smooth, so that's pretty easy to go from that to that. For other stuff, it might be a little harder, so I don't know, maybe I'll do a video on that. But this is ballpoint pen shading, so yeah. Anyway guys, hope you guys enjoyed that video and found it helpful. Anyways, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video.